Next Question podcast here at Maxwell Studios. Got a full audience today, Pat
Wow.
Dearborn. Wow.
I mean, we got the starts of like a pretty good, solid football team. I got a couple O linemen out there, a fullback. I got a strong safety.
What's Dan
maybe a
Cowell,
tailback.
fullback?
Dan Cowell, linebacker and fullback.
Undersized linebacker.
Probably play special teams too. Yeah,
Well,
and he's leaned up. And then
speaking of special teams, ace right here.
Speaking of special
Super Bowl
teams
winner.
and football, wow.
Yeah, we'll bring our
Mark Herzlich in the house, man. Mark, welcome to the show, brother.
I'm excited to be on this side of the lights because I've been and witnessed the show before. And it's fun. You guys got
here with? Who were you
good energy. I think Ortiz was here. Tito Ortiz.
Shout out to Tito Ortiz, man.
Yeah, it was fun. But like, I'm excited to be on. It's cool, man.
Honored to have you.
By the way, speaking of Tito, real quick, that brouhaha, Dana White on Fox News today. I just saw he came back out hard on Tito. Like some of these romances, man, just never go away. So I'm gonna tell you right now, Dana's saying he'll never be friends with Tito Ortiz again. I saw it today. This bums me out because. Look, again, you can't have a Super Bowl. You couldn't have the Hall of Fame without Tom Brady in it. You couldn't have a Hall of Fame in Cuyahoga County without Dan Cowell in it. And you definitely can't have a Hall of Fame UFC without arguably the greatest fighter to put UFC on the map.
Did you have a Hall of Fame without Belichick in it?
Apparently you can.
Apparently you can.
Next question. Wow. Mark jumps right in here with next question. Hey, so real quick, man. So you came to a show, and I got to lock arms with you just going through FBA, coming to a couple games. And I told you off camera, I felt right away I was drawn to you. And it wasn't because of the hair. You know, I got to ask you the whole story behind the Mohawk thing because that's a whole nother topic in itself. But I felt drawn to you. And all I'm hearing, you know, I'm a big fan of FBA. My son graduated from there. It was a great experience for us. Had a little bit of behind the curtain with the athletics there. Was blessed to be a coach, et cetera. And I've heard great things, and I'm seeing the results of what's going on. Now, I know you're humble. You're not going to take any credit for it. But what brought you to FBA and what brought you to Naples, Florida, man?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. So, first of all, I've loved
all my questions are good questions. Go ahead.
Well, okay, yeah. So I will tell you when they're not. So,
wow.
Okay. So how did I get to Naples and FBA particularly? Like I've loved my time at FBA, but we were living in Boston. I played football for the Giants for a while, and we were living in New Jersey. We had 3 kids. So at one point we had 3 kids under 5.
No sleep.
So no sleep. So we moved back up to Boston. I was working for ESPN and the ACC network, so I was broadcasting college football games, and then I also I decided I always want to have multiple jobs because I get bored easily. So I had another job, so I worked for International Justice Mission, which is the largest NGO in the world that fights human trafficking and modern day slavery. So living in Boston, 3 young kids, and I'm traveling all the time. I'm traveling internationally for mission work, and then I'm traveling on every weekend in the fall for broadcasting. And sometimes, right, God puts people in your life that are great reflections of what you're actually living out. And I think, you know, for those of us who are married, our wives are a lot of times that for us. And so my wife was like, something's got to change. Like your job is like taking you away from the family. And I started feeling that as well. So went into this season of like, all right, I'd been broadcasting for 7 years, kind of moving into the direction of, all right, I'm either going to take this kind of next leap of my career or have to figure something else out. And so just was in prayer every Friday. My wife and I go in this practice when we're trying to figure out what's next is like every Friday we fast. So we fasted every Friday for probably 2 months. And in that time period, we decided to come down and visit Naples. And so we needed to get out after the football season. We come down to Naples, and we had some friends who had moved down here from the Northeast, and their kids went to FBA. And so they started telling us about FBA. Like, man, that sounds like a super cool school.
Wow.
It's like biblical worldview immersion, like not a Christianity by just title. Like you don't just get a sprinkling of Jesus around and like a couple of verses on the wall. It's like embedded into what they teach. I'm like, man, that's really cool. So my wife started following FBA on social media, so on Instagram. Fast forward 2 months, we are flying down to Miami to go to my wife works for an NFL or a pro sports ministry. So it's called Professional Athletes Outreach, or PAO. So we're going to a PAO conference for the NFL in Key Biscayne, and we're on the plane, and my wife, you know, we're in the midst of this prayerful season. She turns to me and shows me this job posting. It says Director of Athletic Ministries at First Baptist Academy. And so rewind about 4 or 5 years ago, my wife and I, we every year, regardless of whether our marriage is doing great or on the rocks, we always do a marriage retreat where we go and meet with counselors.
That's awesome, man.
And we just invest into our marriage and spend quality time doing that. So in one of these, we really dove into how we feel like how God purposed us uniquely. So we did this identity training, and I came out of that really with this sentence. And you want to have like a life mission statement. And so mine was, I felt like God uniquely created me to lead young men and women to Christ through athletics. And so from that point on, for the next however many years, every opportunity I had, or every decision that I would make, I would filter it through this lens of like, all right, is this a yes for me? If it's a yes, then it should be leading towards what I feel like God has purposed me. If it doesn't do that, then it could be a no. So when Director of Athletic Ministries popped up on this phone, I was like, ooh, like that checks that box. Like that meets that first test. So, listen to some sermons and different things that week, and I'm playing pickleball.
Pastor Allen.
Yeah, and so I am playing pickleball on the court.
Pickleball sport, just asking for a friend.
Pickleball, I feel like it is a sport, and I want it to be a sport because it's of all the sports that like me and my old age of like.
Our audience is getting all riled up out there. A lot of pickleball players out in the audience.
National pickleball, right? Naples.
It's national championship.
Yeah.
Me and Dan Cowell were there front row. Next question.
So does that, are you asking that question because you can't play pickleball well?
I've never tried.
Oh, sure. All right.
But I'm going to start.
All right, good. All right, let's see you on the court.
I'm burning calories right now.
All right, so anyway, that vest is cool though. All right, so anyway, so playing pickleball with some from guys in the NFL. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna call this school. So I Google online, I like just find the front desk number, and I call and leave a message. And I'm like, hi, this is Mark Herzlich. Like, I basically I haven't stepped foot in a high school in 20 years, but I don't know why. I just feel like God might be calling me down here. And if this is a door that God's opening, I don't want to just not step through it. And so I was like, please give me a call back if you're interested. And Dr. Dupay called me back about an hour and a half later. Talked to them for like 20 minutes, and I was like, we both decided, okay, if this is what God's doing and moving for our school, then let's give it an opportunity. So got on an airplane.
Freaking awesome, man.
Like 4 days later, flew down with my wife and toured the school and toured the campus. And 4 days after that, quit my job with ESPN and said, I'm moving down to Naples, Florida. Didn't know how, didn't know where, but was like, all right, if God's leading us here, let's go.
That's awesome, man.
And now we're here.
Wow.
Freedom Town, USA.
Yeah, hey, that's a great story. That's a great story, though, man.
Yeah.
Before I forget, I like that mission. First of all, I love what you said. Everybody that's married in this room, there's ups, there's downs, there's challenges. It's so challenging. I love that you and your wife, whether your marriage was great or marriage was not great, you always made time. Was that annually? You always went away for a marriage retreat. I love that. And I love the fact you came up with your mission statement. So my question to you is, what big job, or can you even mention it, did you not take because it didn't align? I know you had some other opportunities with the flashier, ritzier, glitzier NFL, college sports limelight. What didn't you take that was offered to you potentially that didn't align with your mission statement?
Well, there's a couple things. So, like when I was in the NFL, I always wanted, you mentioned earlier, I was a special teams guy, right? I was always a bubble guy. I was always a guy trying to make the team every single year. And so,
they made a movie about you. It starred on Mark Wahlberg.
Or
the Replacements, yeah.
Well,
No,
he's
guys.
talking about the strike. Way off.
I was a joke. Come on. All the Philadelphia Eagle guys are like, what are you talking about? I love that movie.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Talk about real quick,
Mark
though,
Wahlberg, 4
for
feet
people that
tall.
don't know what that means, bubble guy.
Yeah. Okay. So, every year you get down to cut day, right? And so, there's guys who sit on that bubble. There's the solidified starters, the franchise quarterback, the DN that's getting paid $15 million a year. And then there's bubble guys. Like it's mostly guys who are either fighting for starting jobs or backups or guys who can contribute to the team in other ways, right? So
and special teams, obviously.
and special teams are
because how many guys on a core 53-man roster do you say are just specifically special teams guys? Is it 2 or 3 kind of?
I would say that No, it's kind of the other way around. You have probably 8 or 9 solidified starters on offense and defense.
Right.
I would say 2 or 3 swing guys, where hey, if you have a good game, you're a starter. If you don't have a good game, you're not a starter, right? And so those go up and down. And then we have, so you call it the core 4, punt, return, kickoff, return, right? So if you're a core 4 guy, usually there was probably about 7 core 4 guys. So like probably 7 like pure special team guys on a team. But this is an interesting thing about a roster. You see all the big numbers now and the big contracts, but 60% of a locker room is on minimum salary. And so 60% of the locker room, they're not guaranteed any money, basically. And so
we can relate to that because everybody in this room is also we're the same.
Yeah, commission based,
10-day contracts.
We're 10-day contracts.
Yeah, that's what we were.
Ricky Haas is 5-day contracts,
right? Commission based athletes, basically. You know, like if you perform well today, you'll get paid. If you don't tomorrow, you won't get paid. But yeah, so like bubble guy, like I would say probably every year you have, and some years I felt a little bit safer. Some years I didn't feel as safe. But yeah, those, you know,
especially coming as an undrafted,
there's a swing all the time.
I mean, what's the percentage of undrafted free agents that actually make an NFL roster their rookie year too?
But and again, I don't know. I didn't go back through and Wikipedia your whole thing. As you never talk about yourself every time.
I think you did.
I didn't, but I did know that you were a great he was an All-American college player, and I mean, your stats were unbelievable as a linebacker for a good program, BC. So how did you go from that to just barely making a team, and why the Giants?
Yeah, so okay, good question. I give you a good question again. I'm not going to do that again.
You can do it again.
But that was a good one. So okay, and the reason why I say that is because it doesn't seem logical. If that's the information, the data points that you have. Oh, he was, you know, first team All-American. He's ACC Defensive Player of the Year. You know, runner up for the Butkus Award. Like, how is this guy barely making a team? After my junior, so I got all those awards my junior year. After my junior year, we had a bowl game. I forget what we played. I think we played. It doesn't matter. So we played someone in a bowl game, and then get home and go through workouts and started feeling this pain in my leg. Long story short, I get diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma, a rare form of bone cancer, at 21 years old, just after my junior year of college, and so. What had been, okay, if you stay and play at Boston College again, I was projected to be, you know, scouts kind of do these rankings or whatever. I was projected to be the #1 overall defensive player taken in the next year's draft. And then you go from that to sitting in a doctor's office telling you that they don't even know if you're going to survive until the next football season. I had a 10% chance of survival when I was diagnosed. And they said I'd never be able to walk again. And so I spent that summer before my senior year. So I was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma. It's a rare form of bone cancer. So it was in my left femur and really was right above my knee to right below my hip. And so spent that entire summer in and out of chemotherapy chairs, had 50 cycles of radiation to try to eradicate the tumor. And then at the end of it, fast forward to November of that following year, put a titanium rod down through the center of my femur to help strengthen it. And so went on this 8-9 month journey of fighting cancer, and was able, by the grace of God, you know, I tell people all the time, you know, when someone gives you a percentage, right? Hey, you have 10% chance of survival, or you have a 50% chance of making this team, or you have, you know, whatever. You got to focus on the one. Right? Because out of all those percentages, those are numbers of massive amounts of people. Like, the fact is that you're one, right?
One of one.
You're one of one. And all it takes for you is for you to be a part of that right percentage, right? And so focus on that rather than the other percentages. So anyway, that's kind of what I did. And was able, you know, by the grace of God, to come back and play football again.
Wow.
And, you know, it's interesting because do I wish that happened? No. But do I look back on that time of my life and, you know, I came to know Jesus Christ through that time. I came to know my wife during that time. Like, a lot of things happened to me during that time of my life, where I don't know how God would have found another way to connect with me, right? But that was the way he chose in that moment. And so it kind of set me on the course for the rest of my life. And so that's why I went undrafted out of Boston College and signed with the New York Giants. And
you picked a good year to sign with them.
I did.
2011. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but you were very fortunate to get to the Super Bowl that year because Kyle Williams didn't fumble once, but twice in the NFC Championship.
Here come the 49ers fans.
I was a pretty good that. I still watch that game probably once a year. Being in that game, that's one of the greatest NFC Championship games.
Come on, go back to Cowboys.
Well, you got a gentleman here that played for the Jets. Tell me how intense was that particular game?
So massively intense. So it was interesting. That season, we played. So we had already played the 49ers that season. We had already played
and lost.
And we had already played the Patriots that year twice because we played them in preseason game and we already played them. So like when we were looking at our out of division opponents, we had when we got to the playoff run, we had already played a bunch of these guys, which for us we felt like, man, they're not coming out of nowhere for us. Like we have a little bit of a chance here.
You were 9-7 going in
9-7, 9-7 in our last game of the season. I know. The crowd's wondering how your brain does this, but it does.
He's the Rain Man, by the way.
But so last game of the season, we're playing the Dallas Cowboys, and even in order to get a wild card spot, we had to beat the Cowboys. And it came down to a last second field goal. They line up to kick. I forget what it was, maybe a 40-something, a very makeable field goal, and
the Tony Romo fumble Ruski.
This is no. This is so Jason Pierre-Paul. He was a DN for us at a USF. He came in and he blocked that field goal, right? And so like there's so many different moments of that season where you talk about Kyle Williams fumbling it. I see it as Jaquan Williams, our rookie linebacker, running down and forcing that fumble, right? So like
the first time, the second time, the guy just get away from the football.
Yeah, that's because he was scared. He knew Jaquan was coming.
It took me 3 weeks.
Program. We'll get all
it
wild
took me
up.
3 weeks to get over that game.
Kyle had a tough off season that year.
Yeah.
Wow.
So and you guys, correct me if I'm wrong. The first team to go on.
My guess is you're not wrong, but go ahead.
To go because I am guessing here, but to go on the road for all 3 playoff games and then win the Super Bowl, was that the first time?
Yeah, I don't know first time or not, but it's very rare. It's very rare. I mean, anytime you're consistently the underdog, and then you run into the New England Patriots and in the Super Bowl, and it's interesting. Like it's the way history plays a role in the present is so interesting, right? Like I think even the fact that there weren't that many guys left from the Super Bowl that they had beat Tom Brady in when they were undefeated, right? But there were a couple, and the way they talked in the locker room was like, just get Eli the ball. Like that's what we kept saying in the defensive room is like, look, Eli may throw picks during the season. There may be get him to the playoffs and get him the ball. And I'm like, I'm a rookie. I'm like, dude, I guess I just got to get Eli the ball. I mean, and so we did that, and he made he made an unbelievable run through those playoffs. We had guys stand on their heads. And when it came down to it, I remember being in it was at Boston College the first time the Giants played the Patriots in that Super Bowl, and watching the defensive line come alive with Strahan, and Tuck was a young guy, OC, and
Chris Canty, very underrated defensive end.
And then that's what took over that Super Bowl that I was a part of, was our defensive line, just like was unbelievable. But yeah, no, it was a super cool moment.
Can I ask you this? With Tom Coughlin being a BC guy, that BC connection helped bring you to the Giants?
I think so. Yeah. I remember talking with Tom. So he called me. So this was the lockout year too. So I went undrafted.
Great question.
And I was training at IMG. So trained at IMG for 6 months or so because it was the lockout year.
Yeah.
And the lockout's lifted, and I get a phone call from Tom Coughlin, and Tom was like, hey, Mark, I know your story, and I think it's a really cool story, but I don't want to bring you here because of your story. I think you can help us win a Super Bowl. And I was like, yes, thanks, coach. Like, I'm happy to come. And he was like, and we reported the next day. because lockout was lifted, starting training camp. They're signing undrafted free agents.
Wow.
And drive up the turnpike and find myself in New Jersey.
So you had this rare form of cancer, and by the grace of God, you beat it. How many moments when you first got diagnosed and you were told you'd be one of the top draft picks, defensive draft picks in the draft, top draft picks in the draft, making real money, crazy money? How many moments of that woe is me, or did that ever enter your head?
Oh, it totally entered my head. I mean, I still find myself at times with the thoughts of, oh, man, like, what if I didn't get sick? Like, what would my life look like? And the good thing is, like, right now, I love what God has done in my life, right? I love the family I have. I love the job I have. I love the people I get to work with. I love the people I get to be around. And so I can very quickly turn that kind of woe is me thought process. But that, very beginning, I remember day of diagnosis, I get back to my room, and this is, my high school room, basically, with trophies on the wall and different things. And I just remember, like, looking at the trophies and thinking to myself, like, why me? Like, why did this happen to me? Like, what I remember, like, this conscious of, like, what did I do to deserve this? And this was before I was a believer, and this was before, I kind of, I had an idea that, God's plans, are, try to work for the good of all people. But my thing was like, man, I must have done something to deserve this. And it quickly turned to, all right, regardless of if it was my fault or anyone's fault, like, I can't continue to live in that consciousness. I need to fight against it. And so I remember walking downstairs that evening, and it was kind of getting dark out. My dad was in the kitchen, and he was just like head in hands, like, man, my son just got diagnosed with cancer, 10% chance of survival. And I remember walking up to him, and he walked over to me, and I just, like, gave him a huge hug. We're big huggers in our family, and hugging my dad is, like, the best, right? So I gave my dad a huge hug. I was like, Dad, I'm going to be okay, and I'm going to play football again. I didn't know how.
Wow.
But he said three words, and I tell this story frequently just because of how important it was at that moment. Because from moment of diagnosis, really from the moment the pain started in my leg, the 6 months of not knowing what was going on, to the moment of diagnosis, it felt like my problem that I was carrying by myself. The pain was very personal. The diagnosis felt very personal. And when I hugged my dad, he said 3 words. He said, "Let's do this." They seem kind of innocuous. They seem like, just, what does that mean? But to me, I was like, wait a second, you're with me with this? Like, you're on my team? And I didn't feel alone anymore. And so, like, the part of what I try to tell other patients that are going through things, or people who just have any sort of tragedy or trauma, is like, find the lets. Like, find the people who are going to come on board with you, regardless of whether you're going to get that big contract, regardless of whether you're going to be a first round pick, or you're going to close that deal, or you're going to sell that house, or you're going to have a great podcast. Like, find the people that'll be with you regardless of all that. And so that's what that became for me. It's like, we built a team of people, of doctors, of my agents, like, of different people in my life that just were there for me and not for what I could potentially produce for them. And carried us to Indianapolis.
Who was your agent?
Tom Condon was my agent. So he's a BC guy.
Yeah. Pittsburgh guy too, is it?
So he was, I don't know where he was from originally, but so he was like Matt Ryan's agent, a bunch of guys from BC before. He was the Manning's agent. So he was like a big, like, a lot of quarterback guys.
Yeah. No, that's a very well-known agent.
And then he would, he'd pluck us BC guys out of there. But like, we talk about agents talk to you, like, after that junior year, when you're trying to get you to sign with them. And pretty much every other agent that I was talking to who was courting me kind of disappeared. And Kondo, he just stayed with me. What do you need? Do you need me to hook you up with doctors in this city, this city? He was there because he cared about me as a person, not just an entity.
Now, playing high school football in Pennsylvania, this is for you, Kamish. Talk about playing, arguably probably the fourth or fifth best state for high school football. But
yeah. I feel like I don't know. I feel like that might have been a dig. I'm not sure exactly.
Guys all flexed up back there.
I'm messing with you. No. So like I'll say this, right? Like this is, and I said it earlier in the podcast, like I hadn't stepped foot in a high school in 20 years, right? Now I'm leading an athletic department in high school in Southwest Florida, right?
Mm-hmm. The best.
It is night and day different. I don't know whether it was Pennsylvania versus Florida or
I mean, I got it.
2005 versus 2027, right? Like there's a lot of things different. Mm-hmm. But one thing that I am trying to continue to tell our kids is you have got to stay in the present, right? If you are playing with the future mindset, I mean, honestly, if you're living with the future mindset, I mean, the Bible warns you against that all the time, right? Tomorrow will have problems of its own. Worry about today's problems because they're here, 100%. Right? Like I did not live for the majority of my high school career thinking about going and playing football in college. Like, I mean, I was a lacrosse player. I was a football player. I played basketball. I just loved playing and competing, right? Yeah. And so those things kind of came to me naturally. But I remember, I mean, I was intense. Like I was intense.
We got this picture here of you back there, man. That's a pretty intense.
You look like remember the Road Warriors?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Totally.
Max. I mean, I can't be the first person that's ever pointed that out.
No, totally. I mean,
I like how you shrunk him down so you and I look bigger than him too.
Yeah.
Ricky Haas looks like he's a starting defensive lineman for
Ricky Haas was starting safety at Gulf Coast High School.
Crohn's disease, same thing derailed him.
You know, I tell Coach Jason Cawley's here, our head football coach, and we have a similar
coach
background with football and the intensity of football. And
well, Alabama doesn't really count as a football state.
Well, yeah, I mean
they recruit good. They recruit good, but
yeah,
take it easy.
Yeah,
Joe Name.
But like, I like it was not. I mean, I remember like it was not for me about flash. Like, I mean, I had a neck roll, I had eye black on, I taped field hockey shin guards to my forearms so I could like smash people. It was like I would pace up and down the sideline listening to a song that I can't recommend because it's
okay. You can
vulgar.
Okay.
Nah, you literally can't say it because of the title. But
FBA has come out to enter the Sandman, so we've come a long way. So
yeah, well, we don't anymore.
I know.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah,
the past is the past.
The past is the past.
That's why the rear view mirror is this big and the windshield is this big. Come on, baby.
Yeah. So the initials were DMFD by this band called Dope. And it was a heavy metal. And anyway, so I'd put my headphone, like I had my Discman that didn't skip, right? It was like the yellow one that was like the sports one,
the waterproof
and
one.
And it had the yellow, the yellow headphones
right inside your thing. Yeah.
So they fit inside my helmet. So I'd put my helmet on.
Wow.
I'd press that on, and I'd pace up and down the sidelines, staring at my opponent, and I'd point at them. And I would just follow him. It was like the best running back on the team. And I just try to intimidate him. So like I was kind of deviant in high school, but like it was the intensity of when I stepped on the field. And I remember people always be like, look, dude, when you step across that white line, you're a different person. And I was like, good, because that means when I step the other way across the white line, I'm still not this psychopath, which is good.
Is that alter ego still, I mean, how old are you now, Mark, if you don't mind me asking?
38.
So I see your family. One of my favorite things about you, I don't even care about the football stuff. I just love seeing your kids.
Yeah.
I see them, because you share a little bit on social media. They all look like they're either part surfer, part rugby player, just wild with the long hair. And I love seeing them wearing the good stuff too. But does that alter ego ever come out? That guy on the pace of sidelines, listening to Dope?
When I'm in the weight room, it does. Okay. Jason's been in the weight room with me before.
Wow.
Now I've found
I work out with a guy like that too. He uses prison weights, Dan Kowal.
I found Christian heavy metal. So like for today,
Christian heavy.
So if you come to an FBA game. Our walkout song or run out song out of the tunnel. It's actually it's Crown of Thorns.
Crown of Thorns. Okay. What's the song?
The song's called Crown of Thorns, but basically this idea of like, Jesus is there. We crowned him with this crown of thorns, and it's screamy. It's very screamy. So it gets you going.
Let's go.
But anyway, so like, it comes out. But I would say that it was interesting when I was playing. I played with an anger about me before I was diagnosed, and I played with it kind of a joy about me after I got through on the other side, and it was awesome. It was interesting. So, I still was able to compete, still was able to play, but I wanted to kill people on the field. Like it was palpable that if you got injured, you couldn't play against me anymore, and that was a goal of mine. Like I wanted you to feel me every single time I hit you, and I wouldn't apologize, and I wanted it to hurt. Like there was never a hit where I hit someone and it was like, I'm hitting you to tackle you. It was like I was hitting you to destroy you every single time I touched you.
So you had a little Bill Romanowski, another ex-Boston college linebacker.
Yeah. Yeah, and it just was the kind of the way that I played, and then anyway, so there was a little bit of more of a light in it. So I think I don't know. I would hope that I'm a little bit more tame now.
How do you end up at Chestnut Hill, Boston College?
I wanted to pick the best school that had the academic and athletic combination that I could. So,
but not Alabama's out right off the gate.
Florida State's definitely not Florida in the picture.
Miami. Listen, Hurricane. You're coming to Hurricanes? Are you crazy? Those kids never went to school back then.
Yeah. Yep.
They did 3 30 for 30 special about you.
Well,
guys.
free shoe you.
By the way, speaking of 30 for 30s, the kind
30 for 30.
That's a great. That was the Catholics versus the convicts.
Yeah,
that's a great 30 for 30. Man, I'm not gonna lie.
So I think for me, I wound up at BC because top 2 schools were UVA and BC.
Another good academic school.
Yeah.
Cavaliers.
Yep, just like those schools. Visited Duke and all these schools. Actually, at one point, I was thinking about playing lacrosse and football at Virginia. I was a big lacrosse, probably a better lacrosse player than I was football player in high school.
I'm from Maryland, which we're pretty good lacrosse.
Yep. So I spent all my summers in Cockeysville. And, Champ Camp and all those tournaments. So. But yeah, so anyway, so I wound up there at BC and loved it. I remember it was funny. So I originally committed to UVA, verbally committed, and then went down there. And on my recruiting visit, basically like my recruiting visit went bad. And I share this sometimes. I think
how many recruiting visits did you take? Did you take the full 5?
No, I was going to take one. I had already committed to UVA. I was just going to take that visit. And I went down there. Again, this isn't a full reflection of the entire team or program or anything, but like the group that I was with, we went to the game and we came back from the game, and we were getting ready to we're pre-gaming, getting ready to go out, and
Ricky's still pre-games.
And what we did, pre-game, there's nothing wrong with pre-gaming, but we're getting ready to go out, and they started playing poker and just turned on like porn and playing poker, and I was just like,
weird.
I'm like, this is a little bit strange.
Poker, so they don't go.
I said this is a little bit strange for me, and it felt like weird, right? There's something in my. I was like, this doesn't feel right. And then we go out, and all the white guys on the team went to one party, and all the black guys on the team went to another party. I was like, ooh, that's a little weird. And then
coach at Virginia,
Charlottesville
at that
Al Groh.
Okay,
there.
NFL head coach.
And he actually was just leaving. So like. He was about to leave. Al Golden was the defensive coordinator. He actually ended up leaving too. But anyway, so I get left at a party by my host, and Chris Long, he was a DN there at the time. Like I'll say this, like I had a bad night, but Chris Long showed like his humanity and how good of a dude he is. Like he saw me at the party, like lost, and was like, dude, where's your host? I was like, I mean, I don't know where.
Wow.
I said, where's he live? I said, I don't know where he lives. But there was a girl who was a friend of mine from high school, and she played field hockey. So I was like, if you could just show me where the field hockey house is, I know I can crash on the couch and can find my way home tomorrow. So he left the party. He wasn't drinking. He got in his car, drove me to the field hockey house, and made sure that I was all set up. And
this is Chris Long, Howie Long.
Howie Long, second overall pick of the Rams.
Like just the guy, and he took his time out of a timeout with friends to come and treat me well. But anyway, so I got back home, and I said, hey, Virginia wasn't a great visit.
Yeah.
Called up the coaches there and said, hey, look, I just want to be upfront with you. I did not have a good visit here. I'm going to go and take a visit to BC as well. They showed up at my high school the next morning, UVA did, and sat me down in an office and basically berated me for an hour and a half about how they can't trust me. How am I going back on my word? We thought we were, we were your people, and all. Like for a long time, to the point where like my high school coach was like, "You guys are never allowed back here."
Wow.
Went up to BC, and it was completely opposite. Like Matt Ryan and Matthias Kiwanuka were like hanging out together at the party, and the entire team was there, and it just felt like a community that I wanted to be a part of, and that's how I wound up there.
Okay.
I was blessed to go up there a couple of times with the coaching staff because Joe Sprasio, a local player.
Yeah.
And we helped do a coaches clinic up there from FBA, and it was just great. Their facility, the indoor facility. Yeah. But I've always told this. I had no idea. I knew about Doug Flutie, and you walk in that building, the number of players from a small school that have played in the NFL, the list is unbelievable.
Yeah, and you played with Anthony Costanzo, first round pick of the Bears. So, I mean, BC does definitely have a good football. Who would you put at the Mount Rushmore?
Wow.
For Boston College.
It was coming.
Athletes in general.
Well, let's keep it football.
Yeah, go football first.
I'd
say Luke Kuechly is probably towards. If he's not number one, he's close. I mean, he just got inducted into the Hall of Fame.
And friends.
Oh yeah. So Luke,
awesome.
we hosted him on his recruiting visit. The year I was sick was his freshman year. So basically, I didn't teach him anything, but I tried to kind of show him the ropes and the way to go. And then we've got to play together for a year when I came back and played again at BC.
Heck of a player.
He's awesome. He's great. He's being inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. So he's up there.
Yep.
I mean, Matt Ryan.
Yep.
Like unbelievable leader, great player. Was there. I got to play with BJ Raji, was another unbelievable defensive tackle.
Green Bay Packer
Green Bay Packer.
Real quick, was Ryan O'Day a coach at BC back then?
Yeah, Ryan Day.
Ryan Day.
Yeah, he was our wide receiver coach back in the day.
His uncle, John McGowan, was the managing partner of the Ritz-Carlton Hotel for many years. Matty would come down all the time, and that's how I got to know him and knew Ryan.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he ends up being the head coach at Ohio State and won national championship. So, anyway, I just now you said Matty ISO.
I remember Ryan. I remember Ryan Day. He was a wide receiver coach, and we had just brought in. I'm forgetting the offensive coordinator's name, but it was really the first time that BC had been a part of like a more of an air raid type offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
suited to Matty Ice.
We were throwing the ball all over the field, and we had wide receivers that you really wouldn't have known about or heard of, that just like stood on their heads. And we were number 2 in the country at one point in my
team was stacked.
My sophomore year. That was pretty cool.
So Matt Ryan,
Luke Kuechly,
Luke, BJ, and then gosh man, there's like some older guys that are like, I mean, Romanowski. Was awesome. There's
about the guy with the statue outside the stadium.
Flutie. I mean, Flutie's like,
saying,
and Flutie's another guy. Like he's a Florida dude now. I think it's Marathon Key. But he's a guy, like I remember when we were freshmen. So his nephew Billy Flutie was my class at BC, and he was a wide receiver. So we took a road trip down to stay at Doug's house during spring break. We drove like 20 something hours down from Boston. And I mean, our D lineman and O lineman like put his jet skis to the test. I mean, they were just like launching off waves and stuff. Yeah, it was fun.
Do that with Dan Cowell's jet skis.
And like Boston College, not just linebackers,
two new ones,
offensive line lineage. A guy I think would be at the top of the list too. Guy you played with in the pros, Chris Snead.
Yeah, Snead, totally.
Tom Coughlin's son-in-law.
Snead, Gosner Shilris. I mean, the O-linemen were great. Jeremy Trueblood was there.
Anthony Costanzo was the first round pick.
Dan Copen. Damian Woody. I mean, people forget he went.
Tom Nalen.
Yep, Tom Nalen.
Broncos anchor of the great Bronco rushing attack teams.
Wow.
We had some guys more recently that are still playing that still come down this area to train.
Coach, if you need like a stat analyst guy at the school, I'm your man.
Yeah. He's a Lately Trojan at heart, but he'll come for, I mean, hopefully we can get him over to FBA.
Like Matt Milano, he trains down up here in Estero during the off season.
And I think he's Marco, doesn't he? Stay in
So I mean, he's been a great player. So we've had a bunch of good guys.
Who's the kick return guy from BC that ended up playing his 5th year at Florida State 1 year? He's local and played at Naples High and trains at D1 here locally. Why can I think of his name now? Punt returner. Had a great career at Florida at Boston College. Ended up going I guess he went through the portal and played his final year with Florida State. Now I'll think of it. He's a local kid, went to Naples High.
Talking about Mike Walker?
Walker.
Yeah.
Yep.
Michael Walker. He was a great wide receiver, great kick returner, and
thought he had a shot. Now, did he ever make?
I think he played with the Jaguars for a little bit, maybe.
I think for a minute, yeah.
But he's still around. He's a part of the community. He's on the Wingfoot awards advisory board and stuff. Yep. Yeah, so he's pouring into.
I've seen the first Naples before during the holiday time at a service. I'm not sure if that's his church to go to, but I have seen him there at First Naples too. So,
in 7 years with the Giants.
Yep.
Couple guys that stick out that you played with.
Yeah,
on and off the field.
I'd say different people stick out for different reasons. I got to walk into a locker room with some of the hardest dudes I've ever met. Like Brandon Jacobs was a dude. Like him and Ahmad Bradshaw in that backfield.
Thunder and Lightning.
Those dudes were dudes. I mean, like, you're not going to model everything they do off the field, but when you watch them work on the field and the way they ran, like,
no joke,
those guys were the real deal. And so, and then OCU Manura was on that team, and you mentioned Chris Canty and Justin Tuck and Matthias Kiwanuka and
pretty good D line.
Some of these, I got to play with some of the Miami guys. Antrell Roll was there at the time.
Oh my God, I got that him.
And John Beeson came later, so got John was cerebral. Like he was, he knew defenses inside and out. I'd say probably the best leader that I played with in the NFL, probably a guy you might not even remember his name, but his guy's name is Jameel McLean. He was a linebacker with me, I think in probably 2014, 15, 16 maybe. He played for the Ravens for a little while, but there was something about this kid. Like he grew up on the streets of Philadelphia. His coach took him in and kind of adopted him as a son, and kind of took him off the streets. And the way Jameel played was with this like passion that you just wouldn't see. And then he led with, you talk about, as a Christian, you want to speak truth in love, right? He wasn't really a believer at the time. I'm not sure where he is now, but he spoke truth in love, where it's like, I knew that everything he said hurt me to the core because it was true. But he always did it not to break me down, but because he believed the best of me. Right. And so like, that was a really cool thing. So he was an unbelievable player. And then I got to, be on the team with Odell, which was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Saquon came in right at the end of my career. So I got to play with a bunch of really cool people.
What do you think with the new special teams kind of rules? And I mean, because it's kind of taken guys like yourself kind of out of it.
Yeah, I think the good thing for special teamers, for instance, is there's still a role. Like you're still not going to put your starters on it.
Mm-hmm.
And punt has stayed relatively the same. Kickoff was, even when I was playing, it was starting to get to the point where not everyone was returning the ball. But I think the days of the big returners, I got to play in this, era of, I played against Devin Hester and Deshaun Jackson and Josh Cribbs and Darren Sproles and, all these guys who, their living was on returning.
Who's the running back they got from Towson? The Giants had the first
David
Meggett, man.
Yep.
So I knew him because my buddy Clay Hall, I played high school ball with, played with him at Towson. He was unbelievable. That was back, obviously, with Park Sales.
He was one of the first kind of specialist, return specialists. Yeah.
And from a small school, Towson Tigers, outside Baltimore. So anyway, just thinking about
Great lacrosse school.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
Johns Hopkins, University of Maryland, Terps.
Yep.
Won a couple of national championships.
Yep.
So is FBA ever going to get a lacrosse team?
Man, if you're a coach out there and you coach lacrosse and you're listening to this, like, call me.
Wow.
I want a lacrosse team like yesterday. We got a bunch of kids who would love to play. I mean, one thing that I've learned about Collier County lacrosse is it's kind of where Philadelphia lacrosse was like 30 years ago.
We're definitely behind on that.
And it's not in a bad way, but you see it as opportunity.
Yeah.
And you got so many great athletes here.
1,000%.
And you just put a stick in their hand and like the hand-eye coordination is there. You just need someone to coach. And like I think I've reached out to every single person who knows lacrosse in Collier County. And
CSN's got a good program. There was a kid 2 years ago from Gulf Coast High School that actually got recruited and actually got picked by University of Maryland.
Yeah. And
he won a national championship his freshman year. So I forgot his name now, but it's starting here.
Yeah, it's starting here. And so and we have a really good, through our sports ministry program at First Naples Sports, we have a really good girls program for youth, for girls. And yeah, we want to build for both boys and girls at FBA.
That's awesome.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask him, so of your kids, which one is the most like you and probably maybe have a shot to play D1 crazy, maybe beyond?
So which one?
Coach is chuckling.
He already knows. So my two boys they're both like me in different ways. Like, so Boston is, I mean, he's an athlete. I tell him all the time, he's faster than me. He's probably not going to be
that name.
Probably not going to be bigger than me. But he's fast. And like right now you hand him the ball on the flag football field and he's gone. Bishop, my 4-year-old, that dude is a dude. I mean, he's the one with the surfer hair.
Oh, I love that hair.
And
rocking the goated hat. Looks good, man.
Yeah, he's 4. Yeah, I mean, he can, since he was probably 2, he could shoot baskets on a 9-foot rim. Now he's, playing basketball on a 10-foot rim.
Shout out Coach Stewart, man.
Yep. I remember it's
Lely guy.
It's funny.
He is Lely guy.
Like you see your own kid and you're like, man, my kid's like doing pretty cool stuff. And I actually,
come on, don't be that dad.
No, I know, but
he's the greatest.
No, I'm not. But what I'm saying is like, so it made me like just notice, because Don Stewart, he knows basketball. Like, he's been around forever.
Ultimate, yeah. I mean, Don Stewart.
How about his son Jared just leaving FBA, but to take that head coaching spot?
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
We're super happy for
Jared, man. Jared's a Marine, good dude.
Super happy. But so Bishop's out after one of the basketball games. He's shooting balls. He was 3 at the time, shooting balls at the 10-foot basketball hoop, and the ball rolls over to Don Stewart, and Don's like, he rolled it back to him, and Bishop shot it. And the ball rolled back to Don. He goes, do that again. He rolls it back to him. And he comes over to me and goes, I don't think I've ever seen that before. I was like, oh, Bishop? He's like, I don't think I've ever seen a 3-year-old do that before. I was like, well, Don, if you haven't seen it before, then I don't know.
If JoJo didn't do it, then I mean, because JoJo's grandson is going to be pretty good too.
So Don's coached some great basketball players.
Yeah.
Gene Paul and Indiana.
So anyway, so both my boys are definitely into sports a lot. And Jet, my daughter, she
cool names.
Yeah, so she is a runner. Like, so I am not a runner. I run because the doctors told me I couldn't run again, and so I still get out there and I run for that reason. Remind myself that anything's possible. But Jet is a runner, and so like I could see her doing cross country or something like that, which would be kind of cool and different for our family.
Good. They like the vibe, and has the whole family adjusted here to Naples and to FBA?
Yeah, totally. I think my wife Danielle is probably so people would be like, she's a Boston chick, and she's tough. She was in military too. She was
well married a Boston chick.
Yeah, so she was an officer in the Army.
Maxwell.
Anyway, so when we get down here, people are like, oh, how you liking it? And she kept being like, I'm here against my will. And I'm looking at her, I'm like, did you have to say that? Like, these are new people we haven't met yet. Like,
Pastor Allen probably didn't like hearing that first time.
But then the follow up is like, but it's God's will that I'm here, so I'm experiencing more joy being here than I realized. But like, I'm here against my will. And like, how true is that? Like, she's a truth teller, right? God usually calls us not to places where we feel like, oh, well, my will would have taken me there anyways. Like, it's like I'm going there against my will because it's God calling me, and I trust in God, and I'm going to that spot, and God's going to redeem that move, right? Or my lack of faith in where we're going. So like, she loves it now. She's got some great friends. She loves the school.
Awesome.
But I think that was kind of the first time in our lives where I've heard it expressed that way, and really felt every time she said it, I'd feel like this weird twinge in my body. Like, and she's like, no, it's not you dragging me here against my will. It's God bringing me here against my will, but I know it's the right thing for my family. So cool. we are loving it down here.
That's awesome.
Some favorite restaurant spots you got so far being in Naples?
Chick-fil-A's got 3 young kids. So.
Yeah, well, we do go to Chick-fil-A.
So, Tuesday night.
Like Lake Colonial, we love that spot.
Wow.
The Vietnamese spot down on 5th Ave. Lola 41. That's a Boston. I mean, we recognize that from Boston. So I remember we got down here in last summer and we went to Lola. That was like one of our first date nights out. And they're like, hey, we have a special. It's like 2 for 1 sushi night. I was like, at Lola? They're like, well, it's summer down here in Naples. And like I said, we're going out all summer.
One of the best deals in restaurants in town. Greg Dodge here. City Style Magazine. Talk to him offline because that guy's got, he'll tell you where to go and where the best deals are. He's a restaurant guy from way back.
That's
friends from Philly. Estia is from,
well, so
Lola.
Estia's right up there in Philly, right near where I grew up on the main line. In Radnor. So no, I mean, so we're foodies. Like we got to live in New York, New Jersey, and Boston, and so like we love good restaurants, and it has not disappointed in Naples.
Oh, Naples is coming along, man, for sure.
Have you found a decent pizza place compared to New Jersey? Down here yet?
I mean, Body's a temple. We don't. Not too.
Where this at?
But honestly, you know what? This is the shocking thing, right? Since we had kids, we have an 8-year-old. We probably started like getting into the ordering pizza thing again, probably like 5 or 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what happened with Domino's between when I was a kid and now.
Way better.
But they have glowed up. Domino's is like, dude. I'm telling you, Domino's
and the Whopper from Burger King. Man, they reinvented themselves.
Not bad anymore.
Give it a shot.
So, anyways, I mean,
okay,
but so I would say like our go-to. I mean, Danielle cooks a lot at our house. We have tons of. I mean, we're red meat people. We eat fish, steak, burgers.
Yeah.
What's your favorite football movie of all time?
Any Given Sunday.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's The Inches.
Interesting.
The Inches.
Well, it's
love Al Pacino.
Yeah, so Al Pacino playing a head coach.
By the way, I'm gonna tell you now. Of all movies, sport movies, I've been asked this: greatest line in a sports movie, dude. Jim Brown with Lawrence Taylor, the shark. He goes, Coach, you have a heart attack. He goes, I don't get heart attacks. MFer.
It's not the greatest football movie line.
It's a great line.
Show me the money, Jerry Maguire.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah.
Next question.
But I would say like out of all the movies, it
kind of shows
it depicts
NFL life field stuff, right?
It's probably the best depiction of NFL.
Ugliest uniforms ever. I don't know where they got them uniforms like USF, the XFL, USFL. These uniforms were horrible.
I think the XFL copied those uniforms.
No, the Sharks were legit.
The Sharks were legit.
The teams they play were wearing crazy stuff.
Yeah,
wow, that's a good. Any Given Sunday is a good movie for sure.
I love that movie.
We were talking offline because there's the Pittsburgh guys in the audience, so they loved All the Right Moves with Tom Cruise back in the '80s too. Man.
Yeah,
that was a good movie too.
I wasn't born yet.
You weren't. Yeah,
Coach Craig T. Nelson.
Coach. Yeah, exactly.
Coach,
Minnesota. Yeah.
Screaming Eagles.
Listen, Mark. Again, I feel like God. I always feel drawn. I'm the biggest center in this room, and I always feel drawn. I always felt drawn from Coach V, who was here earlier, who I actually stepped foot on First Baptist Academy back in the day for his Beacon Sports Outreach. And then fast forward 15, 20 years, and I keep getting drawn back to that school, drawn back to that church, drawn back to that campus. I've been blessed to have a great friendship now, and he's a mentor to me, Pastor Allen. Chris Todd, become a friend. There's some great people there. Ryan Dupay, Dr. Dupay comes to our men's group on Tuesdays. So I keep feeling this intertwined thing. And I'm so happy that Goated, and I've been Goated. I love, what the brand stands for, God over all things every day. I'm so excited for that collaboration with FBA and First Naples. So I'm just honored to have you on the show, man. And I actually learned a lot of stuff. I didn't go Google you and find out. This guy's a walking encyclopedia about your sports stuff. But why I feel drawn to you, I love the passion of what you're bringing back locally to FBA. And it's not about the wins. And I've learned that in hindsight from being there and being part of that staff that won the last state championship here in Southwest Florida. It really doesn't matter. And the way it ended, I'm not going to dwell on that, but I feel like the future's so bright with not just the football team, the athletics in general. And I love the fact that you guys are leading the way, showing people you can be a follower of Christ and still go out there and compete at the highest levels. And I think that's what, I don't care what the other schools do. I don't care how much money they pour into their schools, how much they recruit kids. I feel like FBA still to this day, I always say, is the best athletic program in Southwest Florida. And I want to thank you for helping bring that back, Coach, out here too. So I'm excited for the future for you guys. Families keep pouring into that place. Anything you all ever need, please call on me. I want to support any way I can. And we're just honored to have you on this show, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And I think you've welcomed us so much into this. I remember when I first got the job, if anyone doesn't follow you on social media, then you are very active and you're good on social media. But you reached out to me pretty early on social media, and
I just want to see the guy with the mohawk. The mohawk's tight. Dude.
No, but it was I knew you had connections with kind of everything that happened before. And I remember when you walked into the basketball gym for the first time at a basketball game, I was like, man, it's cool Pat's here. And I think that regardless of and I've talked with Billy. I know Billy well, not that well, but we've talked, and I want everyone to feel like all the alumni that have been around, like, come back. Like it's there's a moniker we have, the Giants, once a giant, always a giant. Like I feel like it was once a lion, always a lion, right? It's the same thing. And the cool part about I think what we're trying to build is this is not something that is going to, like, the crown is not going to sit on Jason Cawley's head. The crown is not going to sit on Scott Stewart's head. The crown's not going to sit on Marcy Walker's head,
or your head,
or my
Pastor
head.
Allen's head. Yeah,
right. This is something that is going to, we are trying to build something that lives on past any one of us and any of our involvement. And so, like, the cool part is we don't have to do it alone, right? God has gone before us in all of these endeavors and all of these efforts, and he has, put new ideas for facilities and all the things in our head. But at the end of the day, it's like, man, what other place in the United States can you go and you can worship the Lord with all of your heart, mind, and soul and compete at this high of a level in athletics? And, like, for me, it moved me from Boston, Massachusetts down to Southwest Florida because I saw that this was the place I wanted my kids to go, and I wanted to have a hand in building it with them.
That's awesome. That's cool, man. Pat, all joking aside, I'd love to get you with Coach, man. I'm not kidding you. If Laley's not going to try to get you over to be part of the preem, I'm pumped up for this guy. This is my brother in Christ, Pat Jira, and he is, again, he's broken and flawed just like I am. But what this guy's been through, God put him through some trial and tribulations, like the book of James. And I'm just honored to do this show. This whole show came about as a way for me to get my friend kind of back on track. He's a great podcast guy. There's more greater things coming for him, but I'd love to have him potentially get involved. He's speaking to a bunch of kids. We're both going to be out in Immokalee, 300, 400 kids.
Johnson's football camp on
Saturday,
yeah.
So Pat's going out there to speak, and he invited me to come out there. I'm going to go out there and support him. Love to get back involved. Love to get Pat more involved, because him talking to the kids through his trials and tribulations, and as a follower of Christ, it would be pretty awesome, man. So
totally.
I hope there's some collaboration in the future, and God bless you. God bless your family, man. I thank everybody in our audience here for being here today. God is good.
Yep, all the time.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Ricky. Have some